Let's have a listen to this, Nick.
You know, the Chinese are very good at technology, but they are not that good in social sciences, versus, you know, the Russians, who are not good at technology at all, but super good in social sciences. So what are they doing? All the actors who are trying to make us weaker, they are actually, you know, finding the little fires that are existing in our society and pouring fuel into those, and both sides.
So that's the first little bit.
Who was that?
That was Kaja Kallas, who is the head of the European Commission, who then came out with this as well.
This is the battle of narratives for the Global South and all the rest of the world, really. I was in ASEAN meeting, and one thing, what was interesting, you know, that Russia was addressing China like, you and like Russia and China, we you know, fought the Second World War. We won the Second World War. We won the Nazism. And I was like, okay, that is something new. But then you can see, first you can, you know, if you know history, then, you know, it raises a lot of question marks in your head. But, you know, I can tell you nowadays people don't really read. And
now she is being absolutely slaughtered. And of course, Russia lost 27 million men. The problem that we also have as well is that, of course, when she came out and said this, she hadn't done her homework and didn't know that there was obviously a huge, shall we say, bit of lunacy that went on inside, you know, the Sino War between China and Japan that started in 1937. Mm-hmm. And the Chinese went absolutely ballistic at her today. The foreign minister came out and absolutely slaughtered her. And then everybody tried to say they'd taken her comments out of context. But if you watch the whole thing...
It's very clear, isn't it? It's very, very clear.
Very clear.
The figure, by the way, in terms of the Russians in the Second World War, figure I've seen repeatedly, is that the Eastern Front accounted for 90% of all German casualties in the Second World War.
Yes.
Which, yeah, even if it's 80%, all the others, North Africa, Normandy and so on, they were literally sideshows compared to what went on in the East. Now, arguably, Russia wouldn't have been able to do that without the vast amounts of money and material that America poured in, possibly. I suspect it would just have taken them longer.
I think so too.
You know, that's all there is to it. But no, simply Russia won the Second World War.
Yes. And this is the other thing.
Simple fact.
I just want to show you how the Chinese reacted, because of course they lost. They kept 70% of the Japanese at bay while America got on with the rest of it.
With the rest,
Here's the Chinese reaction.
The statements by relevant EU officials are full of ideological biases without basic historical facts, and blatantly stoke rivalry and confrontation. This is disrespect to the history of the World War II and is not in the interest of the EU. It's preposterous and very irresponsible. China firmly opposes and deplores that, and China has hosted the events commemorating the anniversary. 80 years ago, the Chinese people made great sacrifice and great contribution to save humanity's civilization and uphold world peace. At that time, some friends from Russia, the United States, and some European countries have provided valuable support and assistance to China's resistance against aggression. Only by remembering history can we uphold peace. China has hosted the events commemorating the 80th anniversary of the victory in order to remember history, honor the fallen heroes, cherish peace, and create a better future. The international landscape is now pretty complex, and it is all the more important for us to have solidarity and cooperation. As the origin of the World War II, Europe needs to take a deeper look at history, take lessons from the history, strengthen solidarity. However, some EU leadership stick to Cold War mentality and severe ideological bias. They deliberately create division and confrontation. This is not in the interest of the EU, and will further undermine its international reputation and influence. We hope these people will abandon their short-sighted prejudice, arrogance, foster a correct historical perspective of the Second World War, see China as it truly is, correct its wrongful remarks at once, undo the negative impact, contribute more to world peace and stability and China-EU ties instead of the other way around.
Now, that's quite, for the Chinese to come out and say something like that, it's quite staggering, Nick. That shows how angry they really are.
Yeah, absolutely. So they set a great deal of store by politeness and reserve, and so on. And that's a full-on Chinese epiphyt. That is.
Yeah.
So and all it does, it just reminds them that the arrogance and the evil that's created the Opium Wars against China, it's still there in their eyes, in the eyes of the West. And it only reinforces their idea that really we've got to this time get it right, and make sure that the rest of the world gets a fair share, which we have to be a little bit uneasy about that, because we are in what Putin calls the golden billion.
Yes.
We are the ones who have benefited to one degree or another from looting most of the rest of the world.